Hello, good morning, and welcome to Maseches Rosh Hashana, Daf Ted Zion, number 16. Shmuel went to arrange a limo for my departure to the airport, so he's busy haggling with the guy. And the guy, I think, wants to charge him 1,000 shekel to rent it, right? 1,500 shekel. Shmuel's asking for 10 shekel. I love Shmuel. I'm gonna miss Shmuel when I go to America. I'll have my father instead. Very interesting. Get to experience me with a modern Orthodox Jew. How will we mesh? He's my father. He's probably firmer than me. That's the truth. Okay, I'll start from the Mishnah on Tezayim and Aleph. The Mishnah says, "Arba prakim haolam nidon." The world is judged 4 times during the year. But Pesach alatvua, Pesach, there's a judgment on the crops of the year. Batzeres alperos elon. On Shavuos, the fruit trees are judged how they'll perform this year. Rosh Hashana kol bai olam over in lefanav maron. On Aleph Tishrei, there's a judgment for all the people in the world. They pass like sheep in front of Hashem. Shnemar yotziach libam hamevin el kol ma'asehim. Hashem creates everything and He understands their actions and how to judge them. Uvechag nidon al hamayim. On Sukkot, there's a judgment on the water, on the rainwater, the amount of rainwater that's going to fall during the winter. Whereas tvua, which tvua are we talking about? Ilay mahatvua, the kaima. If we're talking about on Pesach, the judgment on the crops, on the grains that's already around, that's already existing, that was planted in the winter, and now it exists. Kolhani harpatiki adadu alda emasid itun. All the things that happened during the winter, the rain and the wind, and the tornadoes, and cyclones. When did they happen? When were they judged? They were judged now on this Pesach. Ella tfua de mizdara must be the judgment is on the tfua that's going to be planted in the upcoming winter, in the next winter. Remember the chadina midana. Does that mean to say that crops or grains are only judged once? Vatanya tfua she'ira bakariones. If a crop of grain experienced a natural disaster or a man attacked the grain or he stole the grain, Chona Pesach, if it happened before Pesach, it was judged the previous year. La'achar Pesach, Nidonos lahabas. You see, even standing grain that was planted during the winter, if a natural disaster or people go and steal the grain, that's judged from this Pesach also. There's 2 judgments. There's a judgment on what's going to be planted in the upcoming winter, and there's a judgment on the standing grain that was planted last winter, that's before it's harvested, is harvested around Sukkot time. So the Gemara says, Adam shir bo kario ones kodem yom kippur nidan l'shavar. La'achar yom kippur nidan l'habaz. Another thought over here. Also, a person who experiences some difficulty in his life, a natural disaster, or someone forces and robs him, or assaults him. If it happened before Yom Kippur, it happened. The judgment was from last year. If it happens after Yom Kippur, it was from this year's judgment. Amarava shmamna trei dini misdana. There are 2 judgments given on Pesach regarding crops. One is for what we planted in the winter, and one is for the standing crop now that's still standing before it's harvested. Amar Abaye, hilchach chazi inish the mitzvah zara afla. If he sees that slow-growing crops are successful, for example, wheat or spelt, take a while to grow. He plants them at the beginning of Cheshvan, and he sees they're, by Teves, let's say, he sees that they're doing well. Liktim melizra charpa. He should go quickly and plant in that year. He should plant before Pesach comes. He should plant the slow-growing crops. For example, like barley, takes much shorter to grow. Adamati l'midyanye kadem salik. Before the judgment of Pesach comes, already have planted it and already have mostly grown. So therefore, if the earlier crops were successful, it means there was a good judgment on your crops from last Pesach. Mani Masisin, who is our Mishnah? L'Rabbi Meir, L'Rabbi Yehuda, L'Rabbi Yossi, L'Rabbi Nasser. Our Mishnah is not like any of the following Tanaim. The Sanya, Bryce says, Akol Nidon in Rosh Hashana. Everything is judged on Rosh Hashana. Gzar Din Shalahem Nechtam Yom Kippurim. The L'Rabbi Meir is everything, including Tavua, including Peros Ilan, including Mayim, they're all judged on Rosh Hashanah, on Aleph Tishrei, and the Chasima, the signing off on it, stamping it into approval, is done on Yom Kippur. According to Remeir, you don't Omer only on Rosh Hashanah. Everything's judged on Rosh Hashanah. Gzar din shlehem nechtam kol echa ve'echa bezmanu. But Pesach, the Gzar din, the final decree, is stamped on Pesach al Tvua, Batzeres al Peros Elam Mechagdion al Amayim. So there's also not like our Mishnah, because the Mishnah says that the original judgment of Peros Elon is on Atzeres, and Tvua is on Pesach, and Mayim is on Sukkot. Not that just the Gzar din, the Gemar din is. Rabbi Yossi Omer Adam Nidon B'chol Yom. A person is judged every day. Shneimar V'Tifkedenu Lev Karim. Hashem watches or examines a person every morning. So this is obviously not like the Mishnah. The Mishnah says only Rosh Hashanah. Rabbi Nassan Omer Adam Nidon B'chol Shah. Rabbi Nassan says even further, a person is judged every hour or every moment. Shneimar L'Ragoyim Tivchanenu. Every minute Hashem examines him. Chitei Mala Olam. Rabbi Yehuda say our Mishnah is Rabbi Yehuda. V'Chi Katani Masisi and Gzar Din. Our Mishnah was talking about when it says Atzeres al Peros Elon Pesach al Tfua. That was the Gemar Din. It's Nechtam, the Chasima, stamping it into the books. That's done. That was the Mishnah was talking about. Ihachi Kasha Adam. What do you do at Adam? It should say by Adam. It should say Rosh Hashanah. It should say Yom Kippur. His Gemar Din is on Yom Kippur. Amarava. It's actually a fifth opinion on our Mishnah. It's Rabbi Shmuel. The time of Rabbi Shmuel, Ba'arba, Prakma, Alam, Nidon, and Pesach, Al Tfua, Atzeres, Beres, Elam, Chag, Nidon, Alamayim, Adam, Nidon, Rosh Hashanah, Gzar Din, Shalom, Nechtam, Yom Kippurim. Person is judged on Rosh Hashanah. His Gzar Din is sealed on Yom Kippur. When our Mishnah says that a person is judged on Rosh Hashanah, Atzilas Din, that's talking about the beginning of the Din. Amar of Chista, my time of the Rabbi Yossi. What's the reason of Rabbi Yossi? That he's judged every day. It says, the pasuk says he's watched, he's examined every morning. This is what we need to say. My time of why did he say that Karam Nasa? On the end of the pasuk, the Rabbi Yossi uses is really the pasuk that Rabbi Nassan uses. The Gemara says, Bechina yune be'almehi. Bechina, the word Bechina just means glancing at his actions. So the Gemara says, P'kida nami yune be'almehi. When Hashem visits a judgment, that's also just merely glancing into his actions. That doesn't really imply that it's an actual din, an actual judgment. Hashem says to do the judgment of his servant. There's a reference to a king, and the judgment of Klal Yisrael yom b'yom, each and every day. So it says mishpat, which is clearly din, a judgment. It says every day. Amar Chista, the Gemara learns another limud from this, another teaching from this pasuk. Melech v'sibur melech nichnas tchila din. If you have a melech, let's say a Klal Yisrael or a Gentile king that's awaiting judgment, and you have the nation also awaiting judgment, who gets judged first by the melech malchei amlachim? Melech nichnas tchila din, the king, the president, the prime minister, MBS, Mohammed bin Salman. Whoever knows what country he's from, you gotta get to know him. Mohammed bin Salman, friend of the Jews, maybe, I don't know, but he's from Saudi Arabia. The crown prince. He's a big person. Okay, so the Melech Nichnas Tchila, the king goes first to judgment. Shemar Las Mishpat Avdo, Mishpat Amal Yisrael. First, the judgment of Avdo. This is a reference to Shlomo Melech, he refers to himself as a servant. And then the Mishpat of Klal Yisrael, my time. What's the reason for this? It's not proper derech eretz to have a king wait while others go ahead of him. It's better that he should get judged first before the Melech Malach, whose judgment swells, is going to be bigger, so the king should get off more easily. Amar of Yosef, Kaman Maslina Idna, Aksiri Umari. Who do we which opinion do we daven every day? We say Rifa'inu and Shemona Esrei, we daven for Ksiri, the sick people, Amri, the weak people. Rashi says people learn Torah, weak, Kaman, Rabbi Yossi. Like Rabbi Yossi, who says that we judge the judgment is every day. So therefore, since judgment is every day, it's worthwhile to daven every day for them. Anybody say, well, Olam Karabban, really, even like the Rabban. Rabbi Yisrael, Damar Rabbi Yisrael, Yava Sakal Adam, may call him Gzardin, Mein La'achar, Gzardin. even though judgment only happens once a year, but Saka, if you really cry out from the depths of your heart and you cry, so then it could be that would change the Gzar Din even after Rosh Hashanah. Tanya, Amar Rabbi Yehuda, Mishum Rabbi Akiva, Mnema Amar Torah, Hivi Omer Pesach. Why did the Torah say bring the Korban Omer, the barley offering on Pesach, on Ted Zayin Nisan, in order to matir Chadash? Mnesha Pesach Zman Tvuhu. Pesach is the time where the crops are fully grown, they're in the fields. So therefore, it makes sense that the world is judged on the Tvuah, the crops of that year are judged, so therefore bring a korban to me so it'll be a favorable judgment. Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, have you Lefanai Omer Pesach and Shizbarach Lachem Tvuah Shebesados. In order that the Tvuah in the fields should be blessed. Mnei Amar Torah, have you Shtel Lechem Etzer, bring the Shtel Lechem, which is a korban, to bring 2 loaves of challah as a korban on Pesach, on Atzeres, on Shavuos. Kadesh Shizbarach Lachem Peros Ha'ilon. In order that the fruits of the tree should be blessed, because on Atzeres, on Shavuos, is a judgment, like we said in the Mishnah, on Peros HaIlan. What does wheat have to do with Peros HaIlan? Wheat, according to opinion, one of the opinions of Rabbi Yehuda, he holds that the Eitz Hadas was actually Eitz Hadas was chitim, was wheat, so therefore it makes sense to judge on Peros HaIlan. Why did the Torah say that you should pour water libations on Sukkot? In order that you should have a year of good rains, a lot of rain in Eretz Yisrael. That's why you offer Nisach HaMayim in order to should be a good year, because the water is the year is judged and the rainfall is judged on Sukkot. Amr Lefanai Rosh Hashana Malchios Zichronot and Shofar on Rosh Hashana, in order to save man from his judgment, people should say Malchios Zichronot and Shofar. Malchios is, these are different brachas. There's 3 brachas in the Musaf Tvila of Rosh Hashana. Malchios, 1 bracha is Malchios, 1 bracha is Zichronos, 1 bracha is Shofros. Malchios Kadesh Shetim Lechoni Aleich. Malchios is a lashon of accepting sovereignty of Hashem, in order that people should accept God as their sovereign. Zichronos is remembrance, in order that people should remember it for good in front of Hashem. Shofar. We say shofros in order to commemorate that the way of doing this is to blow the shofar. That we'll see brings rachamim to the din. Amar Rabbi Abba, lama token b'shofar shalayil. Why do people customarily use a shofar of a ram? You can't use a cow's shofar, but you could horn, but you could use a ram. That's what people usually use. In order they should remember, because when the Akedah, we learned last week, with the Akedah of Yitzchak, Avram was commanded to slaughter his son, and then the Malach told him to stop, and he saw Ayil Nechaz Basvach, he saw a ram was a replacement for Yitzchak, so therefore Ayil is a remembrance of the Akedah, and that is a schus that we try to awaken on Rosh Hashanah. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak, Lama Token Rosh Hashanah. Why do we blow shofar in Rosh Hashanah? Lama Token Rachman Amar Tiku. The Gemara says, obviously we blow. The Torah says Tiku Atakatem. Elam Marian. Why do you do truos? We do tkios and truos. Tkios is the long blast. Trua is the broken blast. Marian and Rachman Amar Zichron Trua. The Torah mentioned Trua. It said Trua there. So of course you should do it also. Lama Token Marian B'Kshen Yoshvin. The token Umarian. Why do we do it once in yeshiva, meaning before Musaf, and once during Musaf, either during the actual silent Shmoneh I think Sfardim do that, or during Chazaras Hashas, like the Ashkenazim do. The one before Musaf, even though we do stand for it, it's really, you could technically do it by yeshiva, you could do it sitting. Why do we do it twice? Well, you don't have to do it twice. You only have to blow 9 kolos, and Musaf you blow 30 kolos. Why do 30 sitting and 30 standing? In order to confuse the Satan, Satan is going to see that the mitzvahs are dear to us, that we do it even more than we have to do it. So therefore, he's not going to be able to prosecute us. Any year where there's no tkiyah shofar in the beginning, so it's going to be a bad year for the Jews. My time, when the lo yarvev Satan, the Satan wasn't confused. Any year which is poor in the beginning, Mishashares besofa. Shneim Reishis Hashana Reishis Ksiv Vat Acharis. Sofa Sheyesh La Acharis. It says in the Torah, Mereshis Hashana Acharis Hashana. It spells the word Reishis, not it really means from the beginning, but Rash, like a poor person. Vat Acharis, it says Vat Acharis Shana, and the Gemara Darshan's Acharis, Sofa Sheyesh La Acharis. I'll have an end of the year that has a lasting, it'll be lasting, it'll be a good thing which happens to people, a lasting impact on people's lives. We'll add a little E with a Ben Sion over here. The art scroll is translated Rashis Ashana, like poor, that people make themselves poor, they make themselves completely dependent on Hashem, then it'll be a good judgment for the year. I want to say it's just an indicator. It's an indicator that if things start out poor for you, it'll be successful. I found this to be true in life, that if we're working on a project and all of a sudden it takes off right away, usually it takes off right away and then it fizzles out. But if you encounter some problems at the beginning, usually if you work through them, it'll end up working out. You only judge a person according to his actions at that point in time. It says by Yishmael that Hashem heard his voice. Yishmael was not guilty over there at that point. He didn't change over to doing bad actions. So therefore, Hashem judged him favorably at that point and he saved his life. Three things make Hashem remember a person's sins and possibly judge him unfavorably, even possible death. A person endangers his life by walking under a wall that's leaning, that's about to fall down. He's risking his life for no reason. A person expects his tefillos to be answered. You should never expect your tefillos to be answered. You hope your tefillos are answered, not expect. Din al chaveiro, on someone who ask God to judge his friend, to bring punishment to his friend. If you bring a judgment of your friend to Hashem, you're going to be punished first. Sarai got angry, Sarai at that point, she got angry at Abraham about Hagar. She ended up dying many years before Abraham. Arshkel says she should have died at the same time of Avram. She died earlier because she brought the din of Hagar, and Hagar was able to have a child before she was. Four things rip up the Gzar Din of a person, even though he had a bad Gzar Din. You can change a Gzar Din even after Rosh Hashana or Yom Kippur. Elohin Staka, if you do give charity, Saka, if you scream out to Hashem, a real tearful supplication to God. Shine Hashem, Shine Maisa. If you change your name, you change your actions. Staka Dechsiv, Staka Tatziv Imavis. Staka saves you from death. Saka Dechsiv, Ayitzaku al Hashem Sarlahem. They cried to Hashem when it was narrow for them. Mitzukosayim Yotziyim. He took them out of their depths, their challenges. Shine Hashem Dechsiv, Sarai Yishtachal Zikara Shema Sarai, Ki Sarah Shema. He changed Sarai's name to Sarah. And then it says after that, once I changed the name to Sarah, so then there's room to give her bracha. Yitzchak is going to be born. She's going to have a son. Hashem saw the people of Nineveh, saw they changed their ways. So he didn't do what he decreed that he was supposed to. He told Yonah he was going to wipe out Nineveh. He didn't do it. Also changing your place also can change your judgment. Hashem said, go from Haran to Eretz Yisrael. Once he reached Eretz Yisrael, then Hashem said, I'll make him into a big nation of Ida. Why the first Manda Amr says only four things, doesn't mention Shinim Makom. Who's the Eretz Yisrael? The reason that he was promised to become a great nation is because he lived in Eretz Yisrael. The schus of Eretz Yisrael helped him have that bracha. A person has to go greet his Rebbe, go to his house and greet him on Yom Tov. I think the Isha Shunamis, the husband said, why are you going to, I think it was Elisha, Why are you going to Elisha today? It's not Rosh Chodesh, not Shabbos. Sounds like he used to, implying that on Rosh Chodesh and Shabbos she used to go see him. And certainly Yom Tov also, which has more Kedusha than definitely more than Rosh Chodesh, and maybe more than Shabbos. A person has to go to the mikvah before Yom Tov. Shnemar, it says by the Moed, it says you shouldn't touch the the carcass of a dead animal. Tanya namihachi. Brisa like this also. You might think this is a general rule that Israel is forbidden from becoming tamei from a carcass of a dead animal. Talmud Lomar emor lekohanim ne'aron. It says in Parshas Emor, you say the kohanim that they can't become tamei to a dead person, to a corpse. Bnei Aaron musarin. Bnei Aaron, the Kohanim are warned. Bnei Yisrael and Musarim, Bnei Yisrael are not warned. Alo dvarim kal v'chomer, and it's a kal v'chomer. Umat tuma chamura, corpse tuma of a dead person. Kohanim Musarim, Yisrael Musarim. Only a Kohen is warned. It's allowed for them to become tamei to a dead person. Tuma kala, tuma carcass, which a Kohen is not warned against. The kol shekain. Certainly Yisrael is not warned against them. So what does the pasuk mean? When you lost them, go. But regel is talking about on the regel that they shouldn't become tamei, meaning they should make themselves tahor in order they should be able to come to the base of Mikdash and bring korbanos. Amar Kriptadai, Amar Yochanan, Shosha Sfarim Niftachim Rosh Hashana. 3 books are open on Rosh Hashana. Echad Shoshan Gemurim, the one of the completely wicked people. Echad Shadikim Gemurim, one of the completely righteous people. Echad Shal Beinonim, and one of the middle people. Beinonim, Benny. Beinonim, Beinonim, that's my name, Benny. That's my English name is Benny. I'm a Beinonim. Not a Rosh, I'm not a Tzaddik. That's the best. Sadiqim Gemurim Nechtav Alter L'Chaim. Singing Gemurim on Rosh Hashana already decreed for a year of life. Is life the best thing in the world? Olam Hazeh, the world in Olam Hazeh is not a great thing. The world in Olam Haba is a great Chai Olam Haba. It doesn't say L'chaim, it's Chaim for Olam Hazeh. Not the best thing in the world. Rishon Gemurim Nechtav Alter L'Misa. Rishon Gemurim are immediately written and sealed for death. Death is really a good thing, maybe. In order to get to Olam Haba, you have to die first. Not necessarily conventional dying, but you have to completely eradicate yourself. And Gemara says that so in Divrei Torah Miskayim and Elavim Mishamemis Atzmola, you have to actually kill yourself in order the Torah should be established in you. Beinonim, including the Omni Rosh Yom Kippur, Beinonim, their judgment stands still from Rosh Yom Kippur. Zachu, if they're found meritorious, so they're Nechtavan L'Chaim, they're written for Chaim. Lo Zachu Nechtavan L'Misa. If they're not Zocha, then they get Misa. Amar Yavin Mikra, Yimachu B'Sefer Chaim V'im Sadikim Al Yichtavu. The pasuk mentions a couple of things. Yimachum is sefer, should be erased from the sefer, is a sifran shel Rishonim. This refers to the book of Rishonim, Gemurim. Chayim, the word Chayim, is that sifran shadikim. That's the sefer sadikim. Im sadikim with sadikim, meaning not exactly tzadik. Al yichtavu is that sifran shel Beinonim. This is the sefer of Beinonim. Now when Yisach Amar Mahacha, Moshe says to Hashem, if you don't do this, I'm erased from your book. Asher kasafta machenina, erase me as sifran shel Rishonim. That's sefer Rishonim. Misifrcha, I want to be erased from everything, even as sifran shel Sadikim. Even the book of Sadikim. Asher kasafta is a sifran shel Beinonim. Okay, we're gonna stop here. Three. Tomorrow we'll expound on. We'll get Yom Ben Sion a little bit more about the difference in Sadikim, Rishonim, and Beinonim. See you from America. Take care. Bye.